Hi readers, we are going to read from Time for Kids. This is kind of the middle elementary grade level, and the topic is Roman sports stadiums. If you read along with me and read about the Roman stadium in the kindergarten through second grade version, this one's going to build on that knowledge. Some of the text is the same and the photographs are exactly the same, but there's a little bit more detail. I'm going to share it with you, and as I'm pulling it up, you can be thinking about what it means to add detail. You might tell more about where something is or what it looks like. You might tell more about when something happened. What else might you might describe the people more. You might use more adjectives. Those are words that describe things. So as we're reading, I'll kind of point out where the differences are between this version of the magazine and the kindergarten, first, second grade version. They overlap and you can listen to both of them, but they are a little bit different. So in this Time for Kids, here's the title. You can read it with me. Ready? Read. Then and now. Compare an ancient stadium with a modern one. And again, ancient means so old. Technically, it means it doesn't exist anymore, like dinosaurs are ancient, but we use ancient to mean very, very old. Modern means in recent times or current. So does this stadium look ancient or modern? It is ancient. I will zoom in and we'll read the caption. It says, "The Colosseum is an ancient stadium in Rome, Italy." So Italy is a country in Europe. It's the country that is shaped like a boot, kind of long and skinny. And Italy is famous for so much. For a long time, this city, Rome, was a major city in the whole world. Like, it was very powerful, very influential. Colosseum is the name of this stadium. The Colosseum has a capital C, so we know it's a name. Okay, let's go ahead and turn inside. This is called Changing Times. You can see the title there. And again, if you read this with me, same photographs, same illustration, same bird's eye view of that stadium. But you can see that the placement is different. In this magazine, all the photographs are up here with our vocab words. And then down below, we have some captions that have more detail. And then we have some extra text down here. Some of it is the same as the other version, but this paragraph right here is new. There's some extra detail right here. And there's an extra paragraph in this section as well. So a little bit more challenging for a little stronger, more experienced reader. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to start with the power words and the captions. There's no reason for that. I can choose how to read the power words. I could do it after reading. I'm going to do it before this time. I like to read the captions just to kind of get my brain ready for the topic, but you could do that after if you want to. So right now, let's see what these words are. So the first one is erupt. That's a verb. Do you remember what a verb is? It's an action word. It's something that happens. It can be done. So erupt. It is a verb that means to burst out, to explode. Like a volcano has an eruption. The lava can erupt out of the volcano. but we can also erupt with noise and like you might shout and scream, and that's your voice erupting from your mouth. Okay, the word under it is ferocious. Say that with me. Ferocious. That's an adjective. An adjective is a word that describes a noun. It gives more detail about a noun. So it means wild and likely to attack. Ferocious. I always think of that as being like an animal with sharp teeth and it's baring its teeth and it's ready to bite something, attack it. Now I'm going to read the caption. You can read with me or just listen. Ready? Read. Today, people from around the world visit the ruins of the Colosseum. The drawing on the right shows the stadium as it looked long ago. So we know our directions. We know this side is left, this side is right. And so this is the picture they're talking about. It's a drawing of what this would have looked like when this stadium was being used for sports a long time ago. A lot of buildings and structures would be called this word ruins today because they are literally, actually ruined. The walls have been crumbled down. You can see that this is where the action would happen. There's no covering. It wouldn't happen down there. They would have this flooring that would go all the way across. That's gone. You can see this is crumbled here as well. So it's ruined. It's not useful anymore. It's broken. People just go to visit it and imagine what it was like and to walk through something so old. Okay, ancient. Remember that is very, very, very old. Ancient times. Read with me. Rome is an ancient city in Italy. For more than 500 years, it was the center of a great empire. Okay, let's stop right there and think about this. Say empire. Empire. An empire, I did look it up because you know I love to learn about words. An empire is a group of states or countries that is ruled by or governed by one supreme authority. So like a king, or maybe you've heard the word emperor. They're the one figure in charge of making all the rules or the laws and decisions of that country. So knowing what I just told you now, is the United States, is America an empire? Well, it's a collection of states, but the reason why we wouldn't call it an empire is because we have lots of leaders that we choose. So the person that gets the most votes becomes the leader of the whole country, and that's the president. And then each state has their own leader. So it's not one supreme authority. There's lots of people checking on each other and discussions, major discussions about what's right and what's wrong. Okay, but Rome, 500 years ago, it was a great empire. I'll keep going. Ready? Read. The city's wealth and power can be seen in monuments that are still standing. So monuments are these big structures, and they're just so big and detailed, and you can see that it took a lot of money to build these things and probably a lot of people to do the work. Very interesting. People love to visit these monuments in Rome. One of the grandest is the Colosseum. The stadium was built about 2,000 years ago. It held 50,000 people. What does that mean, it held 50,000 people. So that means that's the number of fans, people that could come watch the sports, 50,000. I'm not sure how many people can go to our modern stadiums, like to watch football or baseball or soccer. That might be an interesting comparison for you to look up. The stadium was built 2,000 years ago, not 500 years. That's when Rome was so powerful. So they were powerful for 500 years around this time, 2,000 years ago. Romans, those are the people that live in Rome, Romans went there to watch battles between trained fighters called gladiators. So what's a gladiator? A trained fighter. These warriors, again, another word for fighter. This is our detail here. Our author is using lots of different words to describe the same thing. Those are called synonyms. And stronger readers like yourself can handle that. These gladiators are warriors, they're fighters. These warriors wore armor and fought with swords. They were heroes to their fans. Who are some sports heroes that you know of today? So the sports heroes I know are probably a lot older than the ones that you might know, but I will tell you they did not use swords. I'm going to keep reading. Here we go. Beneath the arena, and the arena is the area where the sports happen, beneath the arena were passages. Wild animals were kept there. Sometimes a lion, wolf, or bear was brought into the arena. Could a gladiator survive a fight with the ferocious beast? The crowd would cheer as their hero fought a bloody battle. Doesn't that sound intense? So again, this version of this magazine has more detail. In the version for kindergarten, first grade, and second graders, we didn't know what kind of animals, and we didn't ask this question, and we did not read this detail about a bloody battle. So can you imagine sitting in a stadium and watching a gladiator, a warrior, fight a lion, wolf, or bear for fun? Pretty different. These ancient times were pretty different. Okay, now here is our modern stadium. I'll read this caption. The Stadio Olimpico is where Romans go to watch the city's soccer teams compete. The stadium has also hosted World Cup games and the Olympics. So you might be thinking to yourself, if you know what World Cup is or the Olympics, this is more detail here. We can see that they're playing soccer, but people have also played competitions, is the word I was trying to think of. The World Cup is like the ultimate competition. So soccer teams from all over the world, not just Rome, would go to play at this stadium. And then the Olympics is again the worldwide sports competition. And so people from all over the world came to this Stadio Olimpico for the Olympics as well. Okay, let's read here about modern Rome. Ready? Read with me. Sports are still important to Romans, but today their favorite game is soccer. In Rome, soccer is known as football. The game is played in the Stadio Olimpico. The arena can hold 74,000 people. So which one holds more fans? The modern one, and quite a few more. How many more? What's the difference between 74,000 and 50,000? do a little subtraction there. Okay. And then what's the difference between the sports? So one, a gladiator fought a lion, wolf, or bear. And then this one, they're playing the sport, lots of teammates, and they're kicking a ball trying to get it in the goal. All right, I'll keep reading. Rome has two teams. They are fierce rivals. Players charge up and down the field. They shoot for a goal. There's action off the field, too. Fans wave flags and sing songs. When a goal is scored, the stadium erupts in cheers. So let's go through this again. Looking closely now, Rome has two teams. They're fierce rivals, so they compete against each other. And players charge up and down. What that means is that they run up and down. But the word charge, the author chose to use that synonym for running quickly, just to show the force and the aggression and the strength. Charge is kind of a stronger word than just run. They shoot for a goal. And then the action off the field is the fans. The fans are doing things too. They're waving huge flags. They have songs that they sing all together during the game. And let's imagine the stadium erupting in cheers. The crowd goes wild. They're all shouting. All right, let's finish up. Let's read this detail. Ready? Read with me. Soccer games take place on Sundays, but for Romans, soccer is a part of everyday life. All week long, fans talk and argue about soccer. They are loyal to their teams. To them, soccer players are heroes. By Brian S. McGrath. So these rivals have fans, and those fans are loyal. They stick with the team that they chose to support and cheer for. And it's all just for fun, just something fun for people to think about. Now, I did a lot of stopping throughout this reading to talk about the meaning of the text and what it means. And that's one way of reading, right? We read that way a lot when we're doing school reading. Sometimes you read something just straight through, just to get the overall idea of it. Or maybe you're just reading for fun and you don't really have to talk about it. You learned so many new words in here. We talked about the meaning of erupt, and what kind of word is it? It's a verb. We talked about ferocious. Ferocious is an adjective. It describes those animals. We talked about ancient, empire. What else? We talked about gladiators and warriors and how those are kind of synonyms. They mean the same thing, but they're a different word. What else? We talked about loyal and the rivals, the fans choosing their teams. So we did some really in-depth, careful reading today. And I compliment you for sticking with it. And I'm not going to go to the back of this magazine because it's basically exactly the same as the other version. But again, nice reading, and I'll see you next time.